Columbina ER requirements. Do you guys want me to let you in on a little secret here? Yeah, and you can't tell anyone else, okay? So in a team like this, her ER requirement would be she generates what, one part. You know what? Let's fucking cheat. Let's copy. Are there no like Columbina on-field ones here? It doesn't look like there are. Okay, let's do it ourselves then. So how many particles is it? 6 total in an 18-second rotation? She should catch like 4, 2. Llama particles, 4, 2 as well, actually, kinda. Sucrose particles, is she catching them? Are we catching it? No, right? Because you sucrose before llama. And then same for Yehuda particles, +4, +4, +1 5 proc, not caught by her. Right, so her ER requirement in this team would be around 170. That's basically an ER Sands substats that you'll get pretty trivially. So let's take a look at what happens if we go ER Sands and burst every rotation, +5k DPS. Her burst isn't good, just don't fucking use it. If you don't have to use it for the passives that you get out of her Ascension 4, don't even bother building ER. It's just not worth it. Proto Amber will make you lose even more. Crit just does too much for Columbina in a team like this. Because, like, technically we have a tiny little bit of damage coming from this, so the team DPS is a little bit higher than what's shown here. I guess I should just do it very, very quickly, right? Effective attack, Hydro, motion value, Hydro, Meow Ball, 256 times in an 18-second rotation, 8 hits. And then with C1. Then we get a total of 9 on each coordinator. Then the damage here, we have no shred whatsoever. No, on Hydro we have a little bit of shred. And then we can graph this. And then I need to look at the color coding. So this is a Columbina Quill. Then this is actual Hydro damage. We can leave it this color. This is kind of hard to color code well, huh? It looks a little ugly, but it's fine. If it gets the information across, who cares? Let me remove the title. Doesn't need a title. Portion of your damage that gets buffed by Columbina's EM. That's it. It's a quarter of your team's damage. The yellowy gray, or yellowy green, and the other green part is the portion of your team's damage that gets buffed by Llama's EM. So you actually would rather give Llama an EM buff than Columbina, even though Columbina's doing more damage. Wouldn't it be better to make Llama DPS with Sack to use Hold E 2 times? The Hold E doesn't do that much, right? It's only 7%. Getting one Hold E gives you 18 more quills on her burst. But getting a second one doesn't do anything. You're capped at 36 total anyway. The Llama thing would be less confusing if TCR just agreed to associate quill damage with the character that provides the quill. But it's not like it only looks at Llama's stats. The only stat of Llama it looks at is her EM. It doesn't look at her lunar damage bonus, and it doesn't look at her crit. It looks at Columbina's crit. It looks at no one's lunar damage bonus. Let me think before I keep going. If we were to try to minimize our procs, who would we use? Durin? We already know Durin is good. Fischl? With Fischl, you're still generating blooms. Is it just Sucrose plus Yehuda? Animal Resonance? Could do shorter rotations. Maybe. Right, because like the idea is you would want a character that buffs Columbina and Llama's stats. You want to either get crit on Columbina or EM on both Columbina and Llama. What if you Electro Absorb Yehuda instead? I need to check if Cookie's Burst allows Yehuda to absorb through Llama. We'll test it in single target after this if it works again. Yeah, so it seems to work. Let's go test it in single target. Is that single target? Okay, we didn't get it there, right? I can't fucking tell, man. This character feels so ass to play. If I'm gonna have to fucking get my burst back anyways, I might as well just put Fav Cookie and do it in here. Who batteries a lot of electro particles? Fischl, but I want a character that doesn't have off-field electro. I guess it's Razor. EMC Sneak, you're right. EMC would have been the fastest. Now we can do this. Doesn't look like that shit works. I'm not entirely sure why sometimes it's working and sometimes it's not. I think it's because you ran from the enemy. Oh, that might be why. My Yehuda's got like 3 HP. I'm running away so I don't get one shot. So it doesn't work when Cookie is above 50%. Sack Cookie to get lower HP faster. Holy fuck, you're cooking. If this doesn't work, I think it's Cryo. Yeah, well, it wasn't working anyways. The problem with Cryo is that Columbina will interfere. Why not just absorb Hydro and Bloom on Llama? Because we want to get less Hyperlooms. We're trying to come up with ways to absorb an element other than Hydro with Yehuda so that we get less Bloom seeds, so that more of the Llama Quills get taken by Columbina Lunar Bloom instead of Bloom reactions. So we're trying to get the 50 CV from Yehuda without getting a Hydro Absorption in a team with Llama. It could be Rosaria. Rosaria is a crit buff. Why not Durin? Pyro Absorption is bad. And here we're not getting it because the specific timing was a little too cooked, right? So we're barely getting any. What did I die to a bloom? So it's gonna be dependent on when exactly your cryo app happens, which is kind of cooked. Oh yeah, Escafie burst is to you as well. That's true. Oh, we might be fine then. If we did Cookie when you want to overtake Dendro Aura with Hydro, I mean, no. The whole reason why we're doing this is to trigger less bloom. I see what you're saying. I get it. That's true, actually. If Llama's a trigger and we don't have Electro, we get less bloom. Wait, you're right, actually. But what the fuck would you want here, then? I guess Sucrose? Instructor Sucrose? Official? No, Electro ruins. Electro gets us more blooms, and we want less blooms. 2 Animos with 0 VV sounds so cooked. Yeah, but I think it is right. Yeah, you could bring a Geo unit. Zhongli would pop off here. That's true. Toma, stop fucking rage baiting. The thing is, Albedo barely has Geo applications, so he's not doing much. Isn't it like 1 up per 4 seconds? Right now it is, but once we get Lunar Crystallize, it will not be that anymore. One of these here. Kachina. Zhongli. Yeah, Crystallized Global ICD is making things weird here. Wait, or are we not getting 3? Why is it making the other one disappear? Am I not supposed to be able to have 3? Oh no, it's because you have a limit. I'm a fucking idiot. With Zhongli E Pillar Resonance, you will get 4 instances of Geo every time, which is 2 Geo applications. But that wipes your Hydro if it's not 2U Hydro, which it won't be. You won't have Hydro to bloom anymore, and then Llama's gonna apply Dendro, and once you have your Dendro, you're cooked. And you stop getting Lunar Crystallize as well. Making sure Zhongli's Pillar misses is easier than making sure it hits. And if it misses, you'll only get 3. The Lunar Crystallize itself is 3. And that will allow you to make things work. But I don't think it's better than just doing this, honestly. Let's take a look at what we got here. So we lost Cookie. We still have Instructor. So we still have all the same buffs. Lunar reaction bonus from Sucrose. Now we need the EM multiplier for this. Oh, chat, I think I'm an idiot. Actually, I switched around the values for Llama's buffs. No, this is 372. Yeah, it's a lot less. Okay. I'm getting a little curious as to how this team does if you don't on-field Columbina then. Like, if you do, like, Bloom Nevillet. This is the Cookie version. This is the Sucrose version. Cookie version is a tiny little bit more, but it's also going to be a little bit less reliable. Let's also take a look at some team options that don't use C6 Yehuda. Like, most people don't have that. But if you're not using C6 Yehuda, what the fuck do you even want? Is C6 Diona worth it? In this team, it's not that good, because C6 Diona makes you get more blooms, and you actively don't like that. Mona field time might be a bit of a problem, so you'll get less charge attacks on Columbina. So what else could we potentially use instead of Mona? Is it because of Mona N4? Yeah, I guess you could just do N1, then swap, and then swap back in later and do another N2. I guess that's not a problem. Why is more bloom bad? Actually, maybe it's not now, actually. Yeah, no, it's not actually bad. I guess it's fine. Mona's C1 doesn't really do anything. Or C2 giving 80 EM is more helpful than the C1. Unless you do build ER on Albedo. Maybe that's the play. Maybe Fav Albedo is the play, actually. Should I actually, like, update my calc with Durin? We might as well. The biggest problem with Durin is that Sucrose is a little bit more sus here. Because we need to apply enough Hydro to get our actual Lunar Blooms so that we generate our Verdant. So we will need to start weaving in some normal attacks on Columbina. Probably Serenade Fav Durin, right? Maybe we go Iron Sting on him, but we're not going to get a lot of blooms. This team might be goated, actually. No Absorption Sucrose Burst to weaken Pyro Aura. It weakens a Pyro Aura even if it gets the Absorption. But we could do that, actually. It's just, I don't know if you're getting your ER requirements on Instructor. Probably not. But when you have the burst, you use it, yeah. Like, every other rotation, you probably use the burst, and then you don't have to swap back to her to refresh anything. What will be the rotation here? I have no clue. I don't think it matters. You just use abilities. And when you have abilities to use, you use Columbina charge attacks. Hydro Shred is still the same, but Dendro Shred is higher, because we have 35 from Durin. Maybe we go Iron Sting instead of Fav. I don't really get any value out of the Fav, honestly. But I don't know how realistic 8 blooms is. Like, I'll need to test it before I'm sure about this one. But it's not that much better. I was expecting a bigger gap. So will Columbina, Loma, Cookie, Singso, normal Hyperloom with Loma on field be worse? Probably, yeah. Is it better than Columbina, Unefa, Durin, Mona? I'm not sure about that. We can take a look at it now. We'll look at Mona C4. Then for this one, it's this. And then Mona's damage will be like 5k here. So you're a little bit above 140k. Fairly similar to what I was getting with the Llama one. But the damage is a lot more split. What I've gotten out of Columbina Calcs is that every single team is between 120 and 140k as long as you put one of Inefa or Llama in it. Pretty much, yeah. That's a fair conclusion. Flins and Nefer are frauds. Yeah. I'm pretty sure that for all of the Nodcry carries, getting the Nodcry carry will be worse team DPS than getting a constellation on Columbina with and using her as a quote-unquote carry with an all-cry support. I mean, this is probably above Flynn's, right? Like, when you actually include the mono damage here, this is probably above Flynn's, yeah. Columbina C1 is ass, though. Just get her R1 instead, then. Is it really that bad? Like, you're right that it's not that big of an upgrade, but also she's already close enough that even a small upgrade is enough to put her over. Yeah, we can take a look at Sig as well. Sig won't be as good in this team as it is in the Llama team, though. So, Sig is like 12k DPS. What about Ineffa's Sig? Ineffa's Sig might be better in this one, actually. I've seen a lot of people batting Columbina Ineffa, and not a lot of people talking about Columbina Llama, but I think they're very, very similar. Columbina Ineffa is more versatile because you don't need to on-field either of them, so you can kind of use it to wheelchair whatever carry you want. And Columbina Llama scales way better with vertical investment if you want cons. Columbina Llama is about Columbina having more personal damage. Yeah, personal in quotation marks, yeah. Llama's C2. What does it do again? That's something. Nice little plus 60k DPS.